Good evening. If you all want to grab a seat, we'll go ahead and get started. Things don't change because nobody wants to come and sit in the front seat. My name is Tracy Winkler, and I am the proud principal here at Forsyth Central High School. Welcome to our annual FCHS Alumni Hall of Fame. For 70 years, our school has stood strong in tradition, pride, and excellence. Tonight, we gather to celebrate that rich history. Our FCHS Alumni Association, now in its 9th year, continues to connect generations of graduates and community partners who carry our Bulldog name with pride and with purpose. Tonight, we honor that remarkable accomplishments that they have for those who have gone before us for their leadership, their service, and their dedication. Your impact in our school and our community is both inspiring and enduring. Thank you for all you do to keep our traditions alive, to model excellence, and to strengthen the legacy of our high school for generations to come. I would like to introduce Chris Woodall, our MC for the night.
All right, good evening. Thank you everybody for being here. I'm Chris Woodall. I'm one of the assistant principals here at Forsyth Central High School, and I get the honor of being the liaison with our Alumni Association. I've been here at Central for 7 years now. For most of that, I've helped out with the Alumni Association, and one of the incredible things about being a part of it is this Hall of Fame night, where we recognize those of you that have supported the school and supported the community. Once a year, we take recommendations as inductees, and we have a committee that gets together and talks through all the nominees that we have. And for me, that's one of the just really coolest moments of hearing the stories of everyone that has been in these halls and helped this community, and the impact that you had while you were here with your peers and teammates, as a teacher, as community members, church members, as you still worked in the community later on. All those are just, it's incredible to hear all that. And we'll hear more of that tonight as well. Part of what we do with our Alumni Association, as you can see, with our mission, that we're here, not just thinking of the past, but we look towards the present. We want to support our students that are here currently and encourage them to go on and support the community, and someday they'll be recognized as members in the Hall of Fame too, hopefully. So without further ado, we want to get started with what we all came here tonight for, to hear recognize our inductees and hear their stories as well. So to start things off, Linda Lang, I believe you are introducing our first inductee.
Thank you. I'm glad you got me a mic that I don't have to hold.
Yeah.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to serve on the alumni board. Some of us have been on the board for the 9 years that it's been in existence. Some have come and gone, but it's truly an honor to serve this school as a former student here, and we are so honored that all of you are here tonight to recognize the accomplishments of so many that have come through this school. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Andine Chevrolet as one of our primary inductees for tonight. We try to look at contributions made by individuals, and the Altwell family is known all over this county. Anybody that's lived here for a while recognizes the Andine Chevrolet as just a mainstay in Forsyth County. And so tonight we're here to honor the Andine Chevrolet family and as part of our 2025 inductee class. Co-owners of Andine, Jim Otwell and Deanie Creamer, as well as their sister Pat, are all distinguished alumni of Forsyth Central High School, Forsyth County High School, back when we came through. So it's an honor to go back and recognize those who have remained in the county, have contributed just immensely to the success of the business community. So we're here to honor that family tonight. Jim and Janet are with us tonight. Jim and Janet have 4 sons, and I have a terrible time remembering which is which, as they'll tell you that. I'll say, you're which one? But they are James, John, James, and Joseph and Jacob. It doesn't help that they all start with J's. And so, but they along with, it's a family business. Deanie is part of Andine. The boys are part of Andine. Jim and Janet are part of Andine and have been for a long time. So we are very honored to have all of them tonight and to recognize them for all the contributions that Andine has made back to this community. They have not only graduated from this school, but have remained very loyal to Forsyth County High School and Forsyth Central High School. So we're very proud of that. And what better person to tell us about the legacy and the history of Forsyth County High School and their role in this community for Andine. I'm going to ask Joseph to come forward, and Joseph's going to share for a few minutes about his family, the legacy and the history, and we're honored to have them as part of our program tonight.
She said a few minutes, but that's not, I don't take very long when speaking, so it won't be that long. No, we're very honored as a community partner to be able to be here and representing Andine, and just the commitment that we've made to our community and just the success we've had from the community. We just believe giving back to the schools is a vital part of our future success and making sure that the future generations, that we're building up a good workforce, that we have people coming through that we can hire one day, because we use the automotive program that Central has, and we have a number of techs that have come through there and try to partner with them as much as we can. And it's just, with the county growing as much as it has, I'm not a Central alumni, unfortunately, but having a brother that is and parents that are, and even my aunt, she said she worked here briefly a long time ago, but it's just seeing what your community is and how it goes well beyond just the 4 years that you might be in high school, and just the commitment that people have is really strong. And so for us, I mean, we may do the Teacher of the Year program, but I mean, it's more than just supporting a teacher. It's making sure that the kids, just that we are fully committed to our schools. So we're just very honored, and thank you for inducting us. And it's not, we're not really flashy and don't like to be up here in front of the line or in the spotlight, but we just really, it means a lot to us. So thank you.
And Joseph's too bashful to share all that Andine has done in the community, but I want to encourage you to read in your program. And the information that's in your program is what's also on their plaque. But what they have contributed to this community is unbelievable. And so we are very thankful and very happy to induct them for this year. And Deanie, would you and Jim come forward and we'll present your plaque.
I'll also share families. After we've completed the ceremony, we'll have some time after for you to come up with the family as a whole, and we'll get some pictures with the inductees and the families together that we can share back out to y'all. So don't worry about the photo ops. We'll have plenty of time for that. All right, so next up, if I could invite Stan Harris to come up for our next inductee.
My name's Stan Harris, and I have the pleasure of talking about Lisa Ingram Bennett. I've known Lisa Ingram Bennett for most of my life. Since second grade, we shared many classes and friends. Several of them are with us tonight. And we're both 1977 graduates of what we knew then as Forsyth County High. Lisa was very active and popular in high school. I might have even had a crush on her at the time, but she played varsity basketball for 4 years. She played the mother in our senior play, Cheaper by the Dozen. I was her son. She was a Key Club sweetheart, member of the FY and Beta Clubs, and was voted best all-around senior by her classmates. While her high school career was remarkable, I nominated Lisa for the Hall of Fame based on her activities after graduation. After high school, my interactions with Lisa were pretty few and fleeting. We reconnected through high school reunions, reports from mutual friends, and Facebook. You know, thank goodness for Facebook. And primarily, I remember going one time for a reunion planning meeting, and Lisa graciously offered the space at Creative Enterprises for us to meet. First time I'd ever heard about it. And then I thought, this is really cool. She gave us a little tour after hours. This is an awesome kind of place, and I was impressed. And then I started getting more and more feeds through Facebook and learned more about this. And through all of this, I was introduced to Lisa's leadership of Creative Enterprise Forsyth. Now, I have to tell you, again, I haven't had a lot of interactions with Lisa, but just learning about this activity really impressed me, and I talked to some other friends about it. It's like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Makes a big difference. I learned that Lisa had been a leader and advocate for the disabled in Forsyth County for her entire adult life. She taught special education for 20 years and served for 15 years as Assistant Director of Special Education for Forsyth County Schools. Although her academic career was interrupted by cancer, she emerged from the ordeal with a laser-focused mission to provide support for adults with disabilities. She led and championed the 2016 opening of Creative Enterprises Forsyth to serve as job placement and day program for adults with developmental disabilities. Lisa served as the initial director of Creative Enterprises and led the program's services, support, enrollment, and reputational growth for over 10 years. She also, Forsyth, went beyond the bounds of Forsyth County, and she also opened creative ventures in Dawson and White counties. It's my understanding from talking to some of my friends and seeing some of the posts on Facebook that Lisa could be very persistent and persuasive when soliciting support for her activities. Some of you may have been the recipients of said request for support, but actually a huge success. I'm very proud to know her and proud of what she's accomplished. She's also been an advocate for the abused and neglected children in this county and was awarded Forsyth County's Court-Appointed Special Advocates 2016 Light of Hope. So, through her championing of the needs of an underserved group of Forsyth, Dawson, and White County citizens, Lisa, in my opinion, has made a profound difference in the lives of disabled adults, their parents and caregivers, and the larger community. I find her commitment and drive to help others inspiring, and I'm proud to introduce you to Lisa Ingram Bennett.
Don't ever give me a microphone, that's dangerous. I felt like after I had cancer and bone marrow transplants that I still had a mission, and it was really, really clear to me that that mission was to get this adults with disability population a place to go after they graduated high school, because in this big affluent county we didn't have anything. So it just all fell into place. You know, when God gives you a mission, He makes a way. And I am persistent, and I am a big pest. I know that. But, you know, I just felt strongly that this population needed to be heard and seen. And now we're working on homes for them to live in once, you know, their parents die. They'll have somewhere to go. So that's the next mission. And then after that, I don't know, my missions may be over. I don't know. We'll see. But it's taken everybody. You know, you don't do something like this on your own at all. It's so many, Sandy Sweat, Marcy Gravett, Abby Otwell, you know, we've had just so much support, and I really couldn't have done it without that. So this is for everybody, not for me. Thank you, though, so much.
And next up to the mic, Kim Head, with our next inductee. No? No? There we go. There we go.
Okay, I need you to put on your imagination. I'm supposed to be Dr. Shannon Mize. So, just, you know, we'll see how well this goes. So when I speak, I'm speaking from Shannon. He's the one who nominated Kelly for this award. It says, Gail and I first met Kelly when she was a freshman here at Forsyth Central. She was in drama with our son Alex, and it wasn't long before they realized she was remarkably talented, not only a thespian, but also as a bright student and a strong athlete. She was on the state championship softball team in 1996. Kelly's pursued her passion in drama and was part of a program that achieved tremendous success, winning the state competition all 4 years she was here. She was also voted Best Actress of the Region for her powerful performance in Do Not Go Gentle into the Night. Another highlight of her time here was being selected as part of a group of students from Forsyth Central who were chosen as one of the only 10 schools in the nation invited to present a play in Lincoln, Nebraska, and was voted Best Play by all competing schools. After graduating, Kelly continued her journey by earning a degree in performing arts at the University of Evansville in Indiana. She was nominated for the Irene Ryan Award, performed at the Kennedy Center, and graduated summa cum laude. Excuse me. Before moving to Manhattan to pursue her dream of breaking into the entertainment world, it was not an easy path. Gail and I recall visiting her in Manhattan, taking her out for a meal, and being shocked by how thin she was. We joked with her at the time and said that when she made it big, she owed us a dinner. Well, we all know Kelly did make it. Though talent, determination, resilience, she has carved out an extraordinary career in the entertainment industry. She's worked on multiple television shows and has been a part of multiple theater performances and volunteers her time to young artists in their own pursuits of filmmaking, writing, and directing. Currently, she lives in New York with her husband, Bo Richards, and their 3 sons, and is in her 15th year as a cast member of Law and Order SVU. Tonight, it is with great pride and honor that we recognize her achievements and welcome her into the Forsyth Central High School Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Kelly. You have made your school, your community, and all of us incredibly proud. And we are very fortunate that Kelly has sent us a video.
Hi, I wanted to thank the Forsyth Central High School Alumni Association Hall of Fame Committee for electing me to the Hall of Fame this year. It's truly an honor. My fellow inductees, I hold in such high regard. I was so excited when I got to go to Forsyth Central, living in South Forsyth, because my mom was an administrator. Not only because she was going to be there because of the Harvey, I got to be a lady bulldog and be under Harriet Colley's coaching. He was all those girls on the lady bulldog, and of course I got to be in the theater program with Miss Harvey. And I even got to take a weight training class
All right, next up, Lori Waddell, if you want to come to the mic. Ainley, excellent. Oh, you're just hanging out. Okay.
So I'm Lori Waddell, this is Lee Herndon. We are speaking on behalf of our dad, who had no idea that we were gonna speak tonight, so joke's on you, Bob. One of our favorite childhood memories is sneaking into the back of the cafeteria to watch our dad give his pregame speeches every Friday night. For nearly 18 years, we would sit quietly and we would listen to what were essentially 4 or 5 of the same speeches over and over, just reworked and finessed a little bit to kind of make sure that it inspired his players and fired them up for the big game. Growing up, Dad always said that I was the dramatic one, but I think it's safe to say that we got our drama from him. Those speeches were filled with passion, energy, and plenty of flair. And it was his belief that there are really only 3 plays in football: up the middle right, and up the middle left. He's got some of his players here tonight. So, of course, his record shows that these 3 plays worked out pretty well. Under his leadership, Forsyth Central compiled a record of 55-31, which is remarkable when you compare it to just 89 wins in the 24 years before he arrived here at Forsyth Central. His teams brought home the only region championships in school history, including 1996, the first ever in county history, followed by 1997 and 2000. These experiences became the foundation of memories for hundreds of our hometown boys, including my husband, who still proudly tell the stories of their glory days playing for Coach Herndon. But what we really learned from our dad is that passion must be purposeful, that when you make a commitment, you stick to it. And when you do what you love, it never feels really like work. He once told me that his favorite part of being a coach was Monday through Thursday, putting in the work, because Friday night was really just the realization of that effort. And while Friday Night Lights will always be the backdrop of our childhood, it's what I remember about Coach Herndon is that he built sets for the theater department. That trip to Nebraska, he drove those sets in a U-Haul truck with Kenny Fox across our country to get them there. He joined the men's quartet and he sang at different various faculty events throughout the year. And then he also, as the athletic director, bought paper for the teachers when the teachers ran out. So you see, he was not just an incredible football coach, but the legacy that he left was in showing us what it means to be a supporter of the whole school. On behalf of the whole family, Dad, we want to tell you how proud we are of you, not just of what you've accomplished on the field, but of who you are off of it. And we've always been proud to be on your team.
I do have a game plan somewhere. And this was our game plan. We could put our 5 plays on this index card when I coached. First of all, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee. I'm honored beyond words to be standing here. Forsyth Central was a family. It really was. We had people in this school that supported everything we did. It started with Kenny Fox, our 3 administrators, Kenny Fox, Neil Geddes, and Buddy Childs. That's all we had when I got here, but that was enough, I can assure you. This honor is not mine. This is for our family. Lori and Lee and BJ, they are graduates of Forsyth Central. Lee is Bulldog black and white through and through, I can assure you of that. And then the greatest coach's wife anyone could ever have is Diane. She supported everything we did. The only time I heard her get mad was when I told her we were leaving. And I heard it from her and Anita Geddes. And that wasn't fun, I can assure you. The coaches we had, they were great. I had Coach Kicker, Coach Tritt, Coach Pruitt, and Coach Durst. That's all we had. Now you go out there and teams got 12 and 15 coaches. They're in their way. You know, I don't know how they do anything. But it was truly a team effort. To give you an example of a team effort, Yatesy Harvey and the drama did all the announcing. We had a game, and they were going, I think, to Jonesboro for the state one-act play. They came here, announced the game, then went to Jonesboro, spent the night, and won the state the next day. That's the type of people we had. John Mashburn, our band director, they would have competition on Saturday, and he'd come in and say, Coach, we got competition. We want to be at the game. Do you mind if we leave after halftime? Sure, go ahead. But that's the type of people we had. Everybody pulled together. And it was us against the world, especially the new schools in town. One last story. I had to speak at a civic club one time. So I got up and gave a little speech, and there were 2 board members there. Well, we had a question and answer period at the end, and one of them, Coach Herndon, could you tell us the difference between Central and North and South? And I thought for a minute, and then when I got back to school, I got a phone call. It was Dr. McGill. Says, you will be at my office in 10 minutes. I said, and if you knew Dr. McGill, she meant it. So I got in my truck and rode down to the board office. She said, sit your behind down. And behind her desk, she had a paddle. It said Board of Education. She said, I've been told that I'm going to have to reprimand you. I said, for what? I hadn't done anything. She said, you just speak at the Rotary Club? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, well, 2 board members have come to me and said you made some inappropriate comments. I said, well, what was inappropriate about what I said? She said, well, Bob, tell me what you said. I said, they asked me to compare Central, North, and South. I said, this thing is really simple. Central is nothing more than a rose between 2 thorns.
All right, for our next inductee, Shannon Mize inducted George Perkle, and he was not able to be here tonight, so I'll share some words that he has given to us. I truly am sorry that I cannot be here tonight to introduce you in person to George Perkle. George I met around 1958 when my family moved into his neighborhood. He lived just 2 houses apart and quickly became close friends. As young boys, we spent our days playing soldiers, cowboys, and Indians, and keeping the woods behind our homes cleared so they became our playground. It was there that we began learning about nature, biology, science, and the heavens. We would spend nights in the old barn behind his house or out under the stars, counting shooting stars and studying the planets. As we grew older, our dirt road, Pilgrim Mill Road, became our playground. We built truck wagons and rode them down the hills, hardly ever seeing a real car come by. We played in the beautiful Pilgrim Mill Creek, observing fish, snakes, and turtles. Within the rhododendron, we found dogwood limbs to make flips, and at Christmas, we would go outside, go to the stands of shortleaf pines to spend hours choosing the perfect tree to drag home. Our adventures would often take us to my cousin's house, where Pilgrim Mill Road intersected what is now Highway 400, to get a drink of well water before continuing on to the area that would one day become Lake Lanier. There we discovered quartz crystals and arrowheads. These experiences sparked us in lifelong appreciation for science, biology, anthropology, archaeology, and nature, which all created a foundation for our futures. George went to Forsyth Central High School before me, and when he could drive, he would take me to school. Though he was considered an average student at the time, he shocked his teachers when he achieved an exceptional score on the SAT. You see, George was always more interested in what the world had to offer than chasing straight A's. He went on to North Georgia College and later to the University of Georgia, where I think with him we found a place to stay. George then served his country well in the Army, stationed in Augusta, where he met his wife, Karen. His career took him to Birmingham with Southern Company, and after retiring, he returned here to his roots in Forsyth County. Thank you. Back home, George became a true community leader. He served on numerous committees and developed programs that benefited our county, never asking for anything in return. He also served as president of the Forsyth County Rotary Club for an unheard of 2 terms, an organization that demands an enormous amount of time and leadership. His commitment extended beyond our community, representing the Rotary Club and our nation as an ambassador to Australia for a month. George has given back to his country in countless ways, always with humility and integrity. He's one of the most unselfish persons I have ever met and known. I cannot think of anyone more deserving of this honor. George, I am pleased that you have received this award. You have earned it, and you have made us all proud. Most of all, I'm proud of you, my brother. Congratulations, Shannon Mize. And with that, the Alumni Association is honored to induct George Purple. Come on down.
You have to understand, is this on? Is this on? You have to understand that they snuck me in on this thing. I didn't know we were doing this. I had to leave the meeting early, and they said, now's our chance. We can put him down here. So they did. So here I am, and I am so touched by what Shannon said. That's not what I would have expected him to have said, but I'm glad he did what he did. Okay, the first thing I have been ordered to say is, I could not have done it without the help and support of Nurse Karen, my wife of half a century. That's what I was ordered to say. But I would add Karen's mom, Eula, who tries to keep us all straight and who celebrated her 93rd birthday yesterday. And I must not forget our daughter Charity, her partner Angie, and the greatest, smartest, and most beautiful granddaughter in the world, Emery Lee. She is. I feel so blessed, not lucky, but blessed and proud for the honor which the Alumni Association has awarded me, especially to be part of the stellar cast of inductees this year. So, why was I chosen? I think this might be part of the reason. FCHS has been an anchor and a home base for me since I entered the 8th grade. I loved being here, I still do. It was the greatest experience ever, but it became more than that in the 10th grade. On November 30th, 1962, we were in the middle of the Cuban Missile Crisis. If you don't remember that or are too young to have heard about it, that's your homework assignment when you leave here. That day after Thanksgiving, I was 15 years old. Shannon Mize and I were tossing a football to each other in Reverend Troy Akery's backyard, 2 doors down from the Perkle home. Shannon's daddy Cecil walked into the yard and made it a threesome. I looked over and saw Helen Brooks' car in our driveway. Nothing unusual about that, but it was also sitting next to several others that I didn't recognize. And then more came. After a few minutes, Shannon's mother Frances walked out of my house into the driveway and called for me to come home. Cecil said, "Better go on home. I think it's important." Halfway there, I had a horrible feeling that my life was about to change forever, and it did. Ms. Mize put her hand on my shoulder and walked me to the master bedroom with her voice cracking. "Your mother needs you right now. You're going to have to be a very big boy." In other words, I was about to have to grow up fast. Ms. Mize stood outside the door while Mother told me that Daddy had just died of a massive heart attack while burning off weeds between two of his chicken houses. I sat with her for a while and then realized it was futile for me to try to console her. I thought that was my job, but if it was, I wasn't very good at it. I went to my room, took a shower and dressed, and went into the den to sit in Mother's Boston rocker. Ms. Mize was on the phone in the same room, calling relatives to let them know what had happened. I sat in the comforting rocker, asking myself questions I could not begin to answer. I remembered that Daddy was very superstitious, and he had never given any thought to having a will drawn up. Our house was full of friends, neighbors, and casseroles. Somebody asked me if I was okay. I looked up and asked, "How am I going to be able to go to college now?" She had no answer and quietly backed away. Meanwhile, Ms. Mize was trying to reach my brother John at Fort Huachuca in Arizona. No one there seemed to know where he was. In fact, his entire helicopter squadron had disappeared a few nights before, and no one could say or would say where they were. Mrs. Mize then, in no uncertain terms, asked to speak to the commanding general. Those few minutes were when I learned the meaning of the phrase extended family. At that moment, Lieutenant Perkle was on the tarmac at the Naval Air Station in Key West. He was at the controls of his H-34 helicopter with the engine running, waiting for the order to invade Cuba. His flight sergeant approached his chopper and yelled up that he needed to stand down and go see the company commander. Couldn't say why. Fast forward back to Cumming, 8 hours later. My brother walked into the kitchen, still in his flight suit and carrying his AWOL bag and flight helmet. He already had been told by Senator Richard Russell's office that he was granted hardship leave to do whatever was needed for as long as it took. The other details of that story can wait for another time. The bottom line is that the members of my extended family quickly included the faculty of this school, the entire faculty, and the staff of FCHS, all the way to my graduation and beyond. Teachers and friends like the Mizes, Joe and Helen Brooks, the Bowling family, whose names all started with L, my Scoutmaster Jim Scully, James and Dot Altwell and their 3 children, Almond Hill, John Lummis, Ado Coots, who taught me French for 2 years successfully, Principal C.N. Lambert, the Mashburns, all of them, Gladys Barrett, Doug Frederick, who taught me trigonometry, Betty Benson, Gloria Poss, Ann Shepard, who saw a literary spark and encouraged my writing, Sheldon Morgenstern, who grabbed me to be the first percussionist in the first FCHS band, and Charles Nicholas, who was a great teacher and an even greater friend. Were it not for the love and support of that small army, I doubt seriously that I would be standing here right now. How could I not one day come home to stay? Thanks to the care and support of all those people, I'm now able to pay forward what I learned in those days as a bulldog and throughout my life. The lesson here is a simple one, and we need to heed it, especially now. And it was first taught more than 2,000 years ago by a courageous young man in dusty robes and muddy sandals. His name, of course, was Jesus Christ. He said many things, but above all, love your neighbor as you would love yourself. And if we will all do that, the world will be such a much brighter and more peaceful place. Well, thus endeth the lesson, but I'm not through yet, so stay tuned. The best is yet to come. I love you all. Thank you.
All right, I'll invite Robin Sweat now to come introduce our next inductee.
As Kim asked you to imagine that she was Shannon, I'm going to ask you to imagine that I am Chuck Welch. Courtney's family were a large part of Forsyth Central High School, Forsyth County High School. My mother worked with Pat when she was here, and their contributions were great. Courtney's a Forsyth County native who graduated from FCHS with honors in 1994. She was a four-year varsity cheerleaderman who earned the distinction of All-American Cheerleader by the National Cheerleaders Association and was elected team captain her senior year. Courtney excelled in the classroom and in the community. Most notably, her dedication to community service earned her the prestigious Forsyth County Rotary Club Scholarship, recognizing her commitment to service above self. Courtney's dedication not only set her apart at FCHS, but paved the way for her to become the first graduate to receive an NCAA Division I cheerleading scholarship, fulfilling her lifelong dream of cheering for her University of Georgia Bulldogs. At UGA, she cheered on the varsity squad for 4 years, was named Rookie of the Year by the Universal Cheerleaders Association, was appointed captain in 1997-98. She graduated magna cum laude with a BS in biology, inducted into the Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society, and recognized as a UGA Athletic Association top scholar. Upon graduating, Courtney excelled in her role with Eli Lilly and Company's National Six Sigma team, collaborating with hospitals nationwide to improve patient outcomes. Today, Courtney continues to live a life of purpose and service as Vice President of Operations at Beaufort Memorial Hospital in South Carolina. She and her husband, Canada, are proud parents of Sydney, Walker, and Creed. FCHS is proud to induct Courtney Conn Smith into the 2025 Class Hall of Fame.
Thank you. I first want to say thank you to the Forsyth Central Alumni Association and the Hall of Fame Committee. When I first got word about this honor, I don't know that I've ever felt more humbled in my life. To have the school and the community that shaped who I am to recognize me in this way is truly overwhelming. I also want to thank my parents. Their unending love and support and guidance for me my entire life has made this possible. I wouldn't be standing here tonight without that. They taught me that success has to be earned through hard work and dedication. I think if I had to summarize my dad's philosophy best, it would be, don't just wish for it, work for it. That's the standard that he applied to his life and still does, and I've done my best to do the same. My mother was an inspiration. She gave selflessly of herself as a middle school and high school guidance counselor, and she taught me that there is tremendous fulfillment in helping others. And I've used that to not only guide my life, but it was a big part of my career choice as well. I want to thank my family for being here. Our boys stepped away from college and drove here tonight, and that means the world to me. and my husband Canada also for being here. Our daughter Sydney is in PA school, so we'll give her a pass. She's studying. I also want to thank my cousins and my aunt and uncle that are here. You guys mean the world to me. It was such a gift to grow up in a community with family around. Really, really special, and thank you so much for taking the time to be here. You know, cheerleading at its purest is a team sport, and I was so fortunate to cheer for 4 years here at Forsyth Central with some amazing teammates. They weren't just talented, but they were kind to their core. And those ladies, along with the ones that I cheered with at the University of Georgia, remain some of my closest lifelong friends. What a gift to do what you love with people you love. I'm not sure it gets any better than that. Over the past few weeks, I've reflected a lot. I've really taken a long walk down memory lane with all of this. And while I realize that this is an individual recognition, this thought kept coming back to me. And it's that in my heart, I feel like this is an acknowledgement that is much, much bigger. It's a recognition of the amazing and unique, tight-knit community that was coming Georgia in the 80s and the early 90s. I could stand here and talk all night about all of the adults that poured into me and my life and made me who I am. Teachers, coaches, administrators, neighbors, my friends' parents, church youth group leaders. Coming in the 80s and early 90s, it felt like everybody knew everybody, and you didn't have to look far to get the support that you needed. I did want to mention just a few people that had a profound impact on me. I'd give anything if Coach Elaine Taylor were still with us and could be here tonight. She was my first cheer coach at Otwell Middle School, and if you knew Elaine Taylor, you knew that she was a fiery, passionate woman. So one day after 7th grade cheer practice, she asked me to stay, and she sat me in her office, and she looked me in the eyes, and she said, "What are your goals?" I thought, well, I'm 13, maybe. But I did say, really, right now, all I want is to cheer at the University of Georgia. And she said, "Courtney, you are going to cheer at the University of Georgia. I can't wait to watch you between those hedges." And I said, well, we don't even know if I can make it at Forsyth Central, but thank you, because that, thanks for the vote of confidence. She continued to remind me periodically that that was what I was going to do. She was the first adult outside of my parents that made me feel like that goal was actually attainable. My first cheer coach here at Forsyth Central was Rhonda Kinsey. And although she didn't coach me all 4 years, she remained a solid sounding board and a mentor to me throughout my high school years. And she gave me the greatest foundation I could have hoped for coming in as a freshman on a varsity squad that was full of seniors. It was actually a wonderful experience. And then lastly, I have to mention Dr. Shannon Mize. Dr. Mize fostered and nurtured my desire to pursue a career in healthcare. He even let me come to his office after school every day and work, and he and Hilda Streetman were the most amazing mentors to me. He gave me real-world, hands-on experience, and they made me feel like I belonged in the world of medicine. I am forever grateful for the time that he spent with me during those years. I could go on and on all night. I'm not going to, because I know I've talked long enough, but it's important to me that you all understand how grateful I am for this honor, and that I carry it with me with deep, deep gratitude for the people and the place that made it possible. Thank you.
And if I could invite to the mic Ashley Minton for our final inductee.
Have a 9-page speech, but don't worry, it's a big typing, so I can see it. It feels really good. It's an honor to be here in my alma mater. I see a lot of familiar faces and a lot of faces that I don't know. and I'm afraid to say this because I've heard so much about the University of Georgia, but this is one of the few times I'll wear red and black. I cheer for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, so no, I'm not in good company, I suppose. But I want to thank, or I want to congratulate all the other 2025 inductees, and I want to thank the board members for your selections. It's an honor for me to stand here and speak on behalf of my best friend, our Nana, and my mother. It's really hard, or it's really easy, or it's not easy to put into words how amazing she is. A year ago or so, I saw a list of inductees on the Facebook page, one of the good things of social media, and then I recalled my great aunt, Gloria Pass, being inducted. At that point, I began to wonder, how could I nominate somebody so wonderful? I knew a few of the members, so I started to inquire. From that point, I was confident that my mother would be a perfect fit. Jane is a multi-generation hometown girl. She's the daughter of Monty and Betty Holland. She's a Forsyth Central graduate. She and her husband of 49 years, John Tatum, graduated together in 1973. She came back to her alma mater after graduating from North Georgia College, where she earned both her bachelor's and master's degree. She also earned a mathematics award. She likes to take us to go see that. She spent 33 years pouring into her students. Her dedication to her job was evident from the time she pulled into the parking lot till she laid down in the evenings. I can remember walking into her classroom after riding the school bus from my elementary school and seeing her pour her time, her patience, and love into every student. She never saw them as just students. They were her family. Names like Lynn Knight, Chad Carlisle, Alex Cowdery, Joda Browning, Bert Thomas, and William Holcomb, who used to call me Smiley, come to mind. My mom always had a playful banter with her students because she created a safe environment for her students to learn and a passion for them to teach it, or for the learning. The definition of having a passion for a teacher, according to Google, is having an intrinsic enthusiasm and motivation for educating others characterized by joy in the learning process. This is my mom. She made learning math fun. She was a mentor and a friend to her students. I can remember former students coming to our house to confide in her or just to come and visit. They knew that her heart would offer wisdom and encouragement. To show how deeply she was invested, she had a former student confide in her just before she was going out on maternity leave to have me that she wanted to commit suicide because she felt that her dad wanted a son instead of her. Coming home from the hospital with a newborn and having a 4-year-old, my mom still made time for this student. Years later, this student named her first child after my mom. She had the privilege of teaching my brother, Michael Tatum, who was inducted into the 2023 Hall of Fame. Then she had the challenges of teaching me. The only time in my school career that I got written up was my senior year in her class. It involved me coming back to class, let's call it a few minutes late from lunch. Needless to say, she didn't play favorites, which is one more reason she was respected. In her time as a Forsyth Central Bulldog faculty member, not only was her love for teaching contagious, but she found other ways to give of her gifts and talents to her Bulldog family. She served as a Y Club advisor. This required additional time with students who shared a common interest. It also meant weekends away from home, time after school for meetings, and preparing for fundraisers. Everything that a leader has to do. Did she complain? Never once. She was a member of her booster club, and she spent countless hours volunteering and attending ball games or performances that her children and students were a part of. Once my first niece was born, Jane retired from teaching in 2010 after beginning her career in 1977. However, retirement did not mean quitting altogether for her. She has continued, and still does, I think she was doing this today before she came, tutoring. Selflessly helping others succeed is her passion. Mom, your impact may not have brought a region championship or first place in a one-act play, but your impact lives in the students spread throughout our town, our community, and this state. You left a lasting impression on every student who sat in your class or had the opportunity to see you smile in the hallway. You've inspired so many, including myself, to become a teacher. It's because of you that my husband always says, we can't go anywhere without seeing someone you know or who was in your mom's class. While he says this jokingly, I take great pride in his compliment. From the time that she received this call that she was getting this award, she has humbly always said, I don't feel deserving. I, along with many others, have reassured her that she is more than deserving of this honor and recognition. Jane continues to be the light for her family, her friends, her students, and her 4 grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure to introduce you to my hero, a Forsyth Central Alumni Hall of Fame inductee, Jane Holland Tatum.
I'm not a speaker, but I want to thank each and every one of you for this honor, the Alumni Association. I just am so honored. When I got the call that I was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, I was speechless. I didn't know what to say. I thought, me? I didn't know what to do. And then when I found out my daughter had nominated me, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's still getting me in trouble. She's still doing things that make me have to watch after what else she's doing. But I am so honored and humbled. My passion has always been with my family, my Lord, and with this school. I went to school here 4 years and then taught here 33. So I spent 37 years of my life in the school. And I love teaching students. I wanted to help them succeed. Math isn't the best subject for a lot of people. And I don't know, I had a way of getting it down on their level maybe and hopefully help them to succeed. And I wanted to teach them so that if they didn't make it, the first time we had class after school, we had some after school recovery programs that I taught, and also summer school. And I enjoy doing that. The joy of seeing the students light up when they finally got it, you know, just that drove me. And I just always felt that passion for teaching and the joy of learning, and it's been an honor to hear from the students since I've been nominated, and all through the years when I run into them wherever I am, I enjoy seeing them. And when I retired, I thought, what do I do now? Because my identity had been so much into teaching. And the first day of school, the year after when I retired, my husband called me up and he says, what'd you do today? Oh, that's right, you're not teaching today. And I could have smacked him because I was crying all day long. Instead of being, you know, going out and having a party because I wasn't here teaching, I missed it. And I thought, what am I going to do? But I got the idea of tutoring, and I got into tutoring. And I have been tutoring ever since. I did tutor somebody today and 5 yesterday. I enjoy it. It's my passion. I love to help students succeed. But I am honored, and I am so grateful for my years here at Central, both as a student and as a teacher. And I just am so humbled. But thank you all so much. Thank you to my family for coming. My son was supposed to be in Spartanburg meetings, and he drove down here just for this, and he's got to go back. All my
brother and sister and their spouses, and my Ashley, Michael, my children are just wonderful to me. My 4 grandchildren, Caitlin, who's in Pennsylvania College, and we're flying out tomorrow to go see her, and can't wait to see her. And Sydney and Tatum and Catherine, my grandchildren, I love them all dearly, and I just thank all my family, thank all my friends for being here. Thank you all for this honor, and I just don't know what to say. Just thank you very much.
All right, let's hear it just one more time for our newest members to the Hall of Fame. So traditionally, this has been, at least as long as I've come to our Hall of Fame inductee presentations, this was the moment for Kevin Talent, if y'all know Kevin, when he would speak to the needs and requirements and the joy that you get from being a membership and being a part of the Alumni Association, and just that plea for you to join and write your check to be a part of the association. However, we've shifted that over time, and part of that came from a lot of the discussion of, all right, I'm a member, what do I get? Where's my t-shirt? Where's my gold pass to all the sporting events? And so we kind of moved away from that. And the Alumni Association is very excited that in addition to the Hall of Fame, another thing that we do is that we have scholarships that we provide to students here at Central. That's part of giving back for the future. We also, the Alumni Association every year has a gift given to the school. Signage, water fountains, our current mascot, Spike, the uniform, other various things over the years that the Alumni Association has gifted that have meant a lot to the school. But 2 new things that have come along. In the spring now, or in the fall, we just had it, is our car show. And so shifting from a membership focus, where we decided if you walk through these halls, if you walked across the stage and got your degree, you're a member. You're a part of this family of Forsyth Central. So we consider all of our graduates now to be members of the Alumni Association. So to keep this organization going, to keep the scholarships and supporting our students here at the school, we've created in the fall, which we just had, our Shine and Show car show. And we plan on having that again in the fall, so look for information on that. We'd love your support. Bring your cars, bring your checks, join that, be a part of it. We also are going to have coming up in the spring, right around St. Patrick's Day, our first 5K. It's going to be the Lucky Dog Dash. So look for more information on that. Come out, run, walk, be a part of that event. So that way, we can support as an alumni association this school, but not really depend on the membership, because again, we believe that everybody should be a member of the Alumni Association because they were here as well. Also, we have shifted, the Alumni Association has stepped into the future. And as you leave in the lobby, you'll notice on your right-hand side is a beautiful cabinet that has plaques going back to 2016 from the first year of inductees. When those got started putting in there, or placed in that case, someone used a very strong adhesive, and it's impossible to take any out to add any more in. So when you look to the left, there's a beautiful digital screen now, because the association is now in the digital age. And when you click on Explore there, it takes you to the Hall of Fame, and you can scroll through all of the past inductees as well as tonight's inductees into that. And there's a link you can grab, and you can take all those with you and see them on your phone or computer or anywhere at home. You can grab those and send them off to other members so you can see our full bios that we shared tonight as well. So just wanted you to know that. We also want to invite everybody tomorrow night to join Coach Herndon in his spot in the end zone here on the east end of the field to watch tomorrow night's game against West Forsyth. And at the end of the first quarter, before the second quarter starts, all of our inductees, we'd like to recognize you. You'll come out on the field and we'll have a quick recognition of this year's inductees into the Hall of Fame. So we hope you'll be able to make it. Bring your camp chairs, bring a little snack. Again, come join Coach Herndon and his family. That he's usually there in our end zone anyway, supporting the team, giving them his thoughts from the end zone. Very last, we mentioned the photo opportunities. So families, if you can stick around for a moment, we'd love for y'all to come up. We'll get just a picture up here in front of the backdrop for y'all. Again, thank y'all so much for being here tonight. This is, as I start off saying, just hearing the stories of everyone that has contributed to the school and the community, it's just incredible. So one last time, let's hear it for our inductees. Come on up. Get some pictures.